Hey friends, Wednesday. We find ourselves now in a place where Jesus is eating with his friends and something remarkable and unforgettable happens. In the Gospel of Mark, chapter 14, starting in verse 3. Meanwhile, Jesus was in Bethany at the home of Simon, a man who had previously had leprosy. While he was eating, a woman came in with a beautiful alabaster jar of expensive perfume made from essence of nard. She broke open the jar and poured the perfume over his head. Some of those at the table were indignant. Why waste such expensive perfume, they asked. It could have been sold for a year's wages and the money given to the poor. So they scolded her harshly. But Jesus replied, "Leave her alone. Why criticize her for doing such a good thing to me? You will always have the poor among you, and you can help them whenever you want to. But you will not always have me. She has done what she could and has anointed my body for burial ahead of time. I tell you the truth, wherever the good news is preached throughout the world, this woman's deeds will be remembered and discussed." And Jesus was right, because here we are doing it. It's fascinating that there is this, this sense of frugal responsibility. Jesus criticizes it, not because he thinks you should always buy the more expensive thing or the name brand whatever, but because he understands, in a way that no one else around him does, that he's heading to the cross. And if it's your last week on earth, you're not eating the store brand version of the ice cream. You're buying the best thing. You're doing the nicest thing. But that's not what Jesus is doing here. Jesus understands his work and his mission, and he understands that when a body is getting ready for burial, you anoint it with oil. Whether she knew it or not, and she probably didn't, she was acting out this symbolic understanding that Jesus knew that his time was coming. She did this beautiful thing, and other people were criticizing. Why were they criticizing? Not because they were busy going out and helping, but because they probably thought it was a waste and ridiculous, and she was being too over the top and extravagant. But when we think about Jesus, when we think about his love and his grace and his mercy for us, is there any better word that we can use than extravagant?